Senator Chris Murphy is one of the many Democrats up for re-election in 2018. Even though I do think a blue wave is definitely possible for the Democrats in 2018, the deck is stacked against them, at least on paper. 24 Democrats are up for re-election in the Senate. So he is the senator from Connecticut, one of them. He is probably best known for his aggressive push for more gun control. He was spurned into action on that particular issue after the Sandy Hook massacre, which happened in his state, the gruesome massacre there. He has been really awesome on that issue and probably the leader in that fight if we were to pick one in the Senate. But recently he's been pushing for something that might give some progressives a little bit of pause. U.S. Senator Chris Murphy is proposing legislation that would allow all Americans to buy into Medicare, what he called the most popular, most cost-effective insurance plan in the country. Virtually everyone who has the chance to get on Medicare enjoys and finds it a very effective way to receive health care, Murphy said. Our theory of the case is that everyone in this country should have the ability to buy a Medicare plan. There's really no reason for only people over 65 to have access to Medicare. Okay, that sounds great, but it's competing with Bernie Sanders' Medicare for All proposal, which, curiously, Senator Jeff Merkley, who is co-sponsoring this bill with Murphy, has also co-sponsored. So how is this bill different? Essentially, it allows individuals, in addition to large businesses, to buy the coverage for their employees through the Medicare plan. That's more progressive than Tim Kaine's version, which would limit the buy-in to just individuals. So this is individuals and businesses. But it's still promising health care through your employer, and not very close to the Medicare for All proposal that gives it to everyone unilaterally. It seems like an alternative and kind of a preemptive surrender. It's a good bill, sure, but without Medicare for All even going through yet, why even propose it as a half measure? The Choose Medicare Act is one of several plans put forth in recent weeks by Senate Democrats to overhaul the American healthcare system. Many progressive groups are supporting a Medicare for All proposal by Senator Bernie Sanders of Vermont that would essentially create a single-payer healthcare system and abolish all private insurance. Well, it wouldn't do that, but okay. Merkley backed Sanders' Medicare for All plan, while Murphy has expressed reservations. Murphy represents Connecticut, a state where the insurance industry remains a powerful force and employs tens of thousands of residents. Murphy is also among the top 20 recipients of insurance industry contributions in the U.S. Senate this year, according to OpenSecrets.org, which tracks money in politics. That's not bad journalism, Hartford Courant, because that brings me to Chris Murphy's donors, and I will use the same source that they did, Open Secrets. His top career contributor is the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee, the DCCC, with $253,000. Then Yale University, already in his state, with nearly $182,000. MoveOn.org, a progressive organization that's members actually endorsed Bernie in 2016, almost $129,000. Hartford Financial Services, at number 4, an investment and insurance company based in his state, but it's no mom and pop shop. It's a Fortune 500 company, $112,600 as his 4th largest donor. Then Koskoff and Beater, a law firm. Travelers Companies, an insurance company, is next. Massachusetts Mutual Life Insurance is at 7 with $89,000. At 8, we have JP Morgan Chase, very, very familiar to us. Then Sullivan and Cromwell, and then GE, which does have significant operations in Connecticut to round out our top 10 of his career donors. As the article before mentioned, insurance is a powerful industry in Connecticut. In that top 10, 3 of those companies kind of involved insurance, and insurance is his number 7 industry donor. Murphy has raised a good amount of money from individual contributions, though. In his career, they've been around 80% of the source of his funding. But, as was the story with Senator Gillibrand, you can watch that in the playlist, most of the individual contributions are larger when you go year by year. Only 12.6% of Murphy's funds in 2012 were from donations under $200. 68.8% were from over. Same story in 2014. Only 12.9% were under $200. 68.14% over $200. And in 2016, a similar story. 15.32% from under $200. 67.23% from over. And like Gillibrand, he doesn't take a ton from corporate PACs, so it could be feasibly beneficial to him to give that up. but he hasn't yet, nor has he co-sponsored Medicare for All like Gillibrand has. Interesting. Look, Chris Murphy is a great progressive on gun control, and he's been on the forefront of other important progressive issues. He, along with Bernie Sanders and Libertarian Senator Mike Lee, co-sponsored a bill to end the U.S. support for the Saudi-led war in Yemen. That was awesome, very progressive, very great. You know, people are mixed bags, and they respond to incentives. Unfortunately, many of Chris Murphy's incentives involve the insurance industry in his state, and that's where he gets a lot of his donations. So he's proposing a half-measure bill and isn't fully signing on to a bigger measure. Murphy is very likely to win re-election in 2018, but hopefully some of his more progressive constituents will hold him accountable when it comes to some of these issues.